Himself, Barnaby Joyce, joins us now from Canberra. Deputy Prime Minister, congratulations.
Thank you, Michael. I think Christopher Pyne's going to end up with his own talkback show very soon.
Yes, in fact he has, on a network we won't mention. Congratulations. Did you have much time to celebrate last night?
To be honest, Michael, after we'd finished, I went back to my room, had a meeting with my staff that went fairly late. Then I was, as you would, I spent most of the night basically thinking about the job in front of me, and woke up very early this morning thinking about the job in front of me. It's an awesome responsibility, but it's also an incredible honour, and I'm hoping that we do the very best job for the people we represent. If there's people who should be excited about it, it should be the people we represent, regional Australians. So Brick and Tile, the Weatherboard 9, those on the farm, they're the ones who, if there's any excitement, it should be an excitement for them.
There was fierce competition to be your deputy. Fiona Nash, of course, emerged as the winner. Are you looking forward to working with her?
Well, Fiona and I have worked together for a decade, so I get along very well with her, and this is great. It's great for the National Party to have a lady in that position. It shows the development of the party, and I think it's also incredibly important that we have a person with a distinct and explicit understanding of rural issues, from health, also issues on the land, being a farmer. This is going to be a great asset to me, and works also very well with the leader of our Senate, Nigel Scullion, with his understanding of Indigenous issues. It should be a good team. I very much believe in the collegiate form of operating an enterprise or operating in government, and this will be a collegiate form of operation of the National Party.
Voters are very much looking forward to seeing how you'll be different, if at all, from Warren Truss, the former National Party leader. In an interview with Tony Walker, in the Financial Review this morning, you describe yourself as a Maddie. What do you mean by that? Well,
that's borrowing the lexicon from how they described Keating, also as a Maddie. I think that it's an issue of there are certain personalities, and I suppose it's a bit of a flippant statement, but there are certain people who are straight men and certain people who are Maddies, but you've got to obviously drive an agenda, and you've got to make sure that if you want to achieve something, that you are robust about it. Now, there are certain times where people are more demure. I obviously like to drive an agenda and achieve an outcome, and that's my nature, and it will remain my nature, but it's tempered by the people around me, it's tempered by the process of a cabinet government. Going back to your colleague there and talk show host, Christopher Pyne, how do you see the dynamic between yourself and the Prime Minister? In a strange way, there are strong similarities. Malcolm, in a much grander scale, has made his own way in the world. He has been very successful in business, and he started with a good education but little else, and has got ahead. I also made my own way in the world in Western Queensland, starting my own accountancy practice from nowhere and building it up. Now, the common issue between that is we're not tied like zealots to philosophies. We are tied to pragmatism, we're tied to making sure we deliver outcomes, and we're both extremely comfortable in our skin that if we're not in politics, we'll survive. So we're not tied to being in politics either. So that's good, because it gives a form of dynamism. And we both speak to, I admit, different audiences at times. I'm very much concentrating on regional people, and Malcolm, by his career, has a good connection with the centre of business and the centre of town. The change at the top of the Nationals has, of course, cleared the way for Malcolm Turnbull's long-anticipated cabinet reshuffle. As part of that, would you like to have the trade portfolio? Everybody keeps asking me this question. I've been having the conversations with Malcolm, but we'll make that decision later. We won't be making that decision now. I'll be making sure there's a strong link between the skill sets that the National Party will put forward and the portfolios that they operate. Now, I want to make sure that the people in regional areas are well represented in the portfolios that the National Party hold, that we continue to hold portfolios that drive for a better standard of living and a better price for their products. And we can see that what we've done in agriculture thus far has brought about rural exports to be our second biggest exports in our nation. So it's not just important for regional people, it's important for all Australians that we continue to do the work we're doing. But let's cross that bridge later. Obviously, I imagine sometime this weekend, but it hasn't happened yet. Would you like to push for it, though? The Financial Review is reporting this morning that Queensland Liberal Stephen Chober might get the trade portfolio. Would you be happy with that? Look, I'm going to leave those deliberations to my discussion with the Prime Minister. I think it's incredibly important that whoever holds the trade portfolio understands that there's a huge future for Australia in soft commodities, and we're going to need a strong understanding of that opportunity for our nation, not just for the people who produce the beef, the wool, the cotton, the grains, the wine, but also for the money it brings into our nation and how that spins around Martin Place, Collins Street and the rest of Australia. Is
a goods and services tax increase dead?
Look, what the issue was there, Michael, is we had a discussion that seemed to be solely concentrating on GST, and that was never a fait accompli, never even close. It turned into a discussion, and obviously the Labor Party wanted it to turn into a discussion that there was only one issue in town, and that was the GST. Well, I'm sorry for them, but they're going to have to do better than that. When we discuss tax, we discuss all taxes, and they have to come up with something more than just deriding any attempt by us to make sure that we go to this election with a clear set of policies that cover our expenses and brings in the revenue and reduces our debt.
Treasury modelling out this morning shows there's absolutely no economic benefit to an increased GST, even if there was all that compensation in the form of income tax cuts. Realistically, though, the government won't proceed with it.
Well, that's obviously very good information to have, and I've not been a part of a discussion to get rid of anything completely, but I really want people to take a cold shower on the GST idea, because the debate got way ahead of itself.
Including the Prime Minister?
Look, the overall benefactors of a GST currently are the states. So when you see the states' premiers in unison lined up outside Parliament House asking for a GST, you can be pretty sure that that discussion is then a live issue. We've had two premiers, and to give them their due, that they went out on a limb with Mr Baird and Mr Weatherill. At least they have the courage of their convictions, but all the rest just didn't. So we're not going to lose teeth so they can gain money. We're going to make sure that if they want it, they fight for it.
A couple of other quick issues before you go. Something of great interest to our regional viewers is the rollout of the National Disability Insurance Scheme. The ABC has learnt that the Treasury has modelled seeking private funding for that scheme. Would that be a good idea?
Well, the National Disability Insurance Scheme is important, but it's also important we make sure that everything we do, whether in that or any other expenditure, is able to be covered by the money we bring in. There is no trick to this, Michael. The only money we spend is your money. And if you don't have enough money, or your listeners don't have enough money, we borrow the money. And borrowing the money is a very temporary experience. So we've got to make sure that everything we do is able to be covered by the funds we bring in. Our aspirations are limited by what we are able to pay for, and so we've got to manage the economy properly is also a moral imperative, because it's only when you manage the economy properly that you're able to help those people who so genuinely need that assistance, and they're seen in the Disability Insurance Scheme.
Tony Windsor, former independent and the former holder of your seat of New England, was on 7:30 last night, still not ruling out running against you at the forthcoming election. Do you think he will run, and are you frightened of that?
No, I'm not, and that's absolutely anybody's right. Of course, what happens in a democracy isn't it a wonderful place we live, that if you want to stand, if you wish to stand, you can. And that's the joy of living in Australia. No one's ever been killed for standing or beaten up for standing. It is a democratic and a wonderful environment. One of the most democratic places on earth is this great country, and any individual in any seat has the capacity, if they so wish, to stand for office.
And finally, lots of plaudits, lots of congratulations coming in your direction, Barnaby Joyce. Have you heard from Johnny Depp yet?
In a funny way, indirectly I have, but that's a story for another day. But I'd like to thank Virginia for her wonderful green dress, obviously in support of the National Party for today.
You can't let that hang out there, Barnaby Joyce. What have you heard?
Well, no, we're coming to a conclusion with the issues pertaining to the importation of two dogs.
I've heard Johnny Depp is barking mad, though, that you're Deputy Prime Minister.
I'm sure. Oh, my gosh. Michael.
That's what I have to put up with all the time.
Anyway, yes, that's stick to your day job, mate. Yeah.
Barnaby Joyce, congratulations again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Michael.